Imagine this for a second. What if humans weren't the dominant species on Earth? What if, instead of skyscrapers and smartphones, the world was ruled by colossal beasts with razor-sharp teeth, wingspans bigger than cars, and jaws that could crush bone like butter? Before we ever walked the Earth, our planet was home to creatures so massive, so strange, and so terrifying that they make modern predators look like pets. Some lived in the deepest oceans. Others soared through skies with wings larger than any bird alive today. Some stalked the land with power and precision, leaving scientists in awe. In this video, we'll travel back millions of years to uncover 10 prehistoric monsters that dominated the planet, long before our time. This isn't just a history lesson. It's a look into a world where survival meant facing giants. Let's begin the journey. Number 10. Smilodon, saber-toothed tiger. You've probably seen this terrifying animal in action movies, cartoons, or documentaries. It's called Smilodon, but most people know it as the saber-toothed tiger, and for good reason. This beast wasn't your regular tiger. It was a powerful predator with two massive, sword-like teeth that stuck out of its upper jaw. Just to give you an idea, your finger might be about 3 to 4 inches long, right? Well, Smilodon's teeth were nearly 7 inches long, almost double the size. But those giant fangs weren't just for show. Smilodon used them like deadly knives. When it attacked its prey, it would use its strong jaws and sharp teeth to cut deep and fast, slicing through flesh with ease. It was a fearsome killer, built perfectly for hunting large animals. After the mighty dinosaurs vanished from the Earth, Smilodon rose to the top. It became one of the most powerful land predators of its time. And believe it or not, these saber-toothed tigers didn't live millions of years before humans. In fact, they were around just 10,000 years ago, living at the same time as early humans. So, what happened to them? Well, as the Ice Age came to an end, the Earth's climate started to change. Forests and hunting grounds began to disappear. At the same time, early humans began to hunt large animals for food and survival, including Smilodon. With less food and more threats, these powerful cats slowly disappeared from the planet. Even though they've been gone for thousands of years, just hearing about them still sends chills down people's spines. Their story reminds us of a wild world that once existed, and how nature, time, and humans have shaped the Earth we live on today. Number 9. Gigantopithecus. You've probably seen King Kong, that giant ape fighting dinosaurs and hanging off skyscrapers in movies. But what if I told you that King Kong was actually inspired by a real creature? Meet Gigantopithecus, the largest ape to ever walk the Earth. This giant lived around 1 million to 100,000 years ago, and while it wasn't as big as the movie version of King Kong, it was still much bigger than any ape alive today. While modern gorillas stand about 5 to 6 feet tall, Gigantopithecus may have stood up to 10 feet tall when on its hind legs and weighed as much as 1,200 pounds. That's almost as heavy as a small car. But don't worry, Gigantopithecus wasn't a monster. In fact, it was a gentle herbivore. It lived peacefully in forests, munching on bamboo, fruits, and leaves. It didn't harm humans or other animals unless it had to protect itself. But here's where it gets interesting. As climate change started affecting the forests of Asia, food became harder to find. The thick jungles that Gigantopithecus called home began to shrink. And to make things worse, early humans started appearing, possibly competing for the same resources. Sadly, Gigantopithecus couldn't adapt fast enough to the changing world, and slowly, it disappeared. So the next time you watch a King Kong movie, remember, it's not just fiction. Somewhere in the ancient past, a real King Kong once walked the Earth. Number 8. Meganeura. Great. Let's keep the storytelling going. Number 8. Meganeura, the giant dragonfly that ruled the skies. Imagine a dragonfly so big that its wingspan was as wide as a child's arm. Sounds like something out of a nightmare, right? Well, meet Meganeura, the largest insect ever known to have flown on Earth. Meganeura looked like a modern dragonfly, but it wasn't your average garden bug. This creature lived around 300 million years ago, long before the dinosaurs, during a time when the Earth's atmosphere had much more oxygen. And because of that, insects could grow way bigger than they do today. How big was it? While today's dragonflies have a wingspan of just a few inches, Meganeura had wings stretching over 2.5 feet wide. That's nearly the size of an eagle's wings. And just like modern dragonflies, Meganeura was a fierce predator. It didn't buzz around flowers. It hunted other insects, spiders, and even small amphibians. So why did it go extinct? Well, as the Earth's oxygen levels dropped and the climate changed, these giant insects couldn't survive. Their big bodies needed more oxygen than the air could provide, and slowly, the skies grew quiet. But for a time, long before humans or even dinosaurs, Meganeura was the king of the skies, ruling the ancient world with its massive wings and terrifying speed. Number 7. Helicoprion. Now get ready, because this next creature is so strange, scientists were scratching their heads for years trying to figure it out. Meet Helicoprion, an ancient fish that lived over 270 million years ago, even before the dinosaurs showed up. But this wasn't just any fish. It had something no other animal ever had, a spiral-shaped row of teeth in its lower jaw. Imagine a circular saw, but alive and growing inside a fish's mouth. Instead of having teeth all around its mouth like modern sharks, Helicoprion had a single spiral of sharp teeth, like a buzzsaw, curled tightly under its jaw. When it bit into its prey, it would roll those teeth forward, slicing through flesh like a spinning blade. One powerful twist, and its victim would be torn apart. And if you're wondering how it ate, here's the creepy part. Helicoprion would bite into its prey, likely soft-bodied animals like squid or ancient fish, and then use the spiral to grind and pull the meat into its mouth. It didn't chew. It shredded. Now, we never found a full skeleton of this monster. All scientists discovered were its bizarre spiral teeth fossils. For decades, no one knew where to put them. Some thought it was on the nose, others thought it stuck out like a tusk. Eventually, CT scans and fossil reconstructions revealed the truth. This buzzsaw was part of its jaw, hidden inside the mouth. Helicoprion could grow up to 25 feet long, almost the size of a great white shark. And though it looked like a shark, it wasn't a true shark. It belonged to a strange extinct group of fish that we no longer see today. So why did it disappear? Like many other ancient sea creatures, Helicoprion vanished during a mass extinction event, likely caused by changes in the ocean's temperature and chemistry. Shall we dive deeper into the past and meet a sea scorpion that was bigger than a human? Ready for Number 6. Pterygotus, the giant scorpion of the deep. Now if you thought regular scorpions were scary, wait till you meet their ancient cousin from the deep sea, Pterygotus, the giant sea scorpion that once ruled Earth's oceans. This creature lived about 400 million years ago, long before dinosaurs and even before trees fully took over the land. And it wasn't just big, it was a giant. Some of these monsters grew over 8 feet long. That's taller than most humans. Pterygotus was part of a group called Eurypterids, which were basically giant aquatic relatives of scorpions and spiders. But unlike modern scorpions that crawl in deserts, Pterygotus swam through ancient seas like a silent predator. Its body was covered in a hard, armor-like shell to protect it from other threats. It had massive claws, sharp and strong enough to grab fish or smaller sea creatures and crush them. And with compound eyes, kind of like the ones insects have today, it could spot prey in almost any direction, even in dark, murky waters. Think of it like a prehistoric submarine, sneaking up on its target with deadly claws and a powerful tail that helped it swim fast through the water. One quick lunge, and its victim didn't stand a chance. Despite looking like something from a sci-fi movie, Pterygotus wasn't just a sea monster, it was also an important part of Earth's history. Scientists believe creatures like this were some of the first complex hunters on our planet, shaping the way life evolved in the oceans. But like many ancient creatures, Pterygotus eventually vanished. As Earth's climate changed and new predators evolved, these sea giants slowly disappeared, leaving behind only their fossils as proof they once ruled the seas. Number 5. Mosasaurus. Now this dinosaur doesn't look like a typical meat-eating monster. In fact, at first glance, it might even seem weird. But don't be fooled. Therizinosaurus is one of the strangest and most fascinating dinosaurs ever discovered. During the late Cretaceous period, this creature walked the Earth about 70 million years ago. It stood up to 16 feet tall as a two-story building, and could grow over 30 feet long from head to tail. But the thing that makes Therizinosaurus really unforgettable? Its claws. Each of its front limbs had 3 gigantic claws, each one stretching up to 3 feet long, about the same length as a sword. If that sounds like something out of a horror movie, you're not wrong. Some scientists have even called it the Freddy Krueger of the dinosaur world. But here's the twist. Therizinosaurus was likely a plant eater. Yes, you heard that right. Despite looking like a terrifying killer, this dinosaur probably used its claws not to slash through prey, but to pull down tree branches, dig into bark, or maybe even defend itself from real predators. It had a long neck, a small head with a beak, and leaf-shaped teeth, perfect for munching on plants. Its body was wide and bulky, almost like a walking barrel, and it likely had feathers, making it look like a strange cross between a giant chicken and a monster from your nightmares. So why the giant claws if it wasn't hunting meat? Well, in nature, sometimes features evolve for surprising reasons. Those claws could have helped with feeding, climbing, fighting off attackers, or even attracting a mate. We still don't know for sure, but they were definitely powerful. Therizinosaurus fossils were first discovered in Mongolia, and at first, scientists only found the claws. With no full skeleton, they thought the creature was a massive turtle or a predator. It took years to finally understand how strange and unique this dinosaur really was. Number 4. Titanoboa, the snake that could swallow a crocodile whole? If you think today's snakes are scary, wait until you hear about Titanoboa. This prehistoric snake was the largest snake ever to slither on Earth, and it was no shy garden reptile. Titanoboa lived about 60 million years ago, after the dinosaurs had gone extinct. It ruled the hot, swampy jungles of what is now Colombia, South America. And when we say ruled, we mean it. This snake was nearly 50 feet long, longer than a school bus, and could weigh more than a ton. That's heavier than a polar bear. But what made Titanoboa so terrifying wasn't just its size, it was what it could do. With its massive body and powerful muscles, Titanoboa didn't need venom. It would wrap itself around its prey, which could be giant turtles, birds, or even prehistoric crocodiles, and squeeze. Its grip was so strong it could crush bones and stop the heart of almost anything it caught. Then it would open its huge jaws, unhinge them like modern snakes, and swallow the prey whole. And yes, fossils show that it really did eat crocodile-like creatures. So the idea of Titanoboa swallowing a crocodile? That's not a movie scene. That's real prehistoric history. But here's the interesting part. Titanoboa wouldn't survive today. Why? Because snakes are cold-blooded animals, and they need warm environments to thrive. Titanoboa lived during a time when Earth was much hotter than today. Without that intense heat, it couldn't grow so big or stay active. Its discovery in the early 2000s stunned scientists. The first fossil, a piece of its massive backbone, was found in a coal mine. As more bones were uncovered, paleontologists realized they weren't looking at a giant lizard or a dinosaur. This was something completely new and terrifying. Number 3. Megalodon, the shark that made great whites look tiny? Megalodon was the largest shark to ever live, and it ruled the oceans around 23 million years ago. This ancient predator was around 60 feet long, making it more than 3 times the size of today's largest great white shark. If you think great whites are scary, Megalodon was a whole different level of terrifying. Its teeth were massive, up to 7 inches long, as big as a human hand. And when those teeth sank into its prey, it didn't just bite, it tore chunks of flesh away in a single snap. Some scientists believe Megalodon could have bitten through the bones of whales, which were its favorite food. Just to put it into perspective, the largest great white sharks today measure about 20 feet. So, imagine the size of a Megalodon, a shark that was 60 feet long, with jaws so powerful they could crush the bones of large marine animals. It's easy to see why it was the top predator of its time. Despite its terrifying size and power, Megalodon went extinct about 2.6 million years ago. Scientists think that climate change and changes in ocean currents may have caused the extinction, as these massive sharks relied on certain ocean temperatures and prey. With the arrival of colder waters, and possibly the rise of new species, Megalodon could no longer dominate the oceans the way it once did. If you were alive in the time of Megalodon, swimming in the ocean would be a completely different experience. The waters were ruled by a giant predator, and anything that swam in its path was at risk of becoming its next meal. Can you imagine being on a boat and seeing the fin of a Megalodon rise out of the water? It would probably look like the fin of a giant whale, except it's moving towards you with terrifying speed. Number 2. The mega crocodile. The crocodile that could have eaten a T-Rex. When you think of crocodiles, you probably imagine the ones we have today, big, tough, and terrifying in their own right. But what if I told you there was a crocodile so massive, so terrifying, it could have easily taken down a Tyrannosaurus rex. Meet the mega crocodile, or more formally known as Sarcosuchus imperator. Sarcosuchus lived around 110 million years ago, during the Cretaceous period, when dinosaurs like the T-Rex were still roaming the Earth. This megacroc was no ordinary predator. It was up to 40 feet long, which is about 2 school buses laid end to end. That's massive, considering today's largest crocs, like the saltwater crocodile, only grow to about 20 feet. But it wasn't just the size that made Sarcosuchus so deadly. Its jaws were huge. So large, in fact, that they could easily crush the bones of their prey. The teeth of this prehistoric crocodile were up to 8 inches long, perfect for gripping and holding onto anything unlucky enough to be in its path. What makes the megacroc even more terrifying is that it lived in swamps and rivers, areas where large dinosaurs would often come to drink or bathe. Sarcosuchus would have ambushed its prey, dragging it into the water with its powerful bite. Once underwater, it would use its strength to drown its victim, using the same death roll technique that modern crocodiles still use today. And while the T-Rex may have been the king of the land, the Sarcosuchus ruled the water. Imagine a T-Rex standing near a river, when out of nowhere, this massive crocodile lunges from the water with a bite so powerful that it could have taken the giant dinosaur down in one go. The Sarcosuchus was truly a beast that would put even the largest dinosaurs on edge. But just like many other ancient creatures, the mega crocodile went extinct about 90 million years ago. It likely couldn't survive the changing climate and shifting ecosystems, as the planet's temperatures and geography changed over time. Now, think about this. If Sarcosuchus were alive today, you wouldn't want to swim anywhere near a river or swamp. Number 1. The Tyrannosaurus rex, the king of dinosaurs. If you've ever seen a dinosaur movie or visited a museum, then you've probably heard of Tyrannosaurus rex, the most famous dinosaur of all time. But it wasn't just famous for its size or terrifying appearance. It earned its title as the king of dinosaurs for a very good reason. T-Rex lived around 66 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period, and it was one of the largest carnivorous dinosaurs to ever walk the Earth. Imagine a creature that stood about 20 feet tall, with massive jaws and teeth that could crush through bone. T-Rex was about 40 feet long as a school bus. One of the most impressive features of this giant was its powerful bite. T-Rex's bite force is believed to have been one of the strongest of any land animal, living or extinct. Its teeth, which were around 6 inches long, were shaped like steak knives, perfect for slicing through flesh. This dinosaur didn't just eat, it devoured. But the T-Rex wasn't just about power and size. It was also a skilled hunter. With its excellent sense of smell and strong legs, it could chase down its prey with terrifying speed. Despite its size, it is believed that T-Rex could run at speeds of up to 20 to 25 miles per hour for short bursts, which would have made it a terrifying hunter on the prowl. However, the T-Rex didn't always have to chase down food. With its massive size and strength, it could easily overpower other dinosaurs to steal a meal. But what made it truly terrifying was its ability to eat almost anything. Whether it was a smaller herbivore or another dinosaur, the T-Rex had no problem sinking its teeth into whatever it could find. Sadly, like many other creatures, the T-Rex went extinct around 66 million years ago, likely due to the asteroid impact that wiped out most of the dinosaurs. But even though it no longer roams the Earth, its legacy as the ultimate predator continues to live on, in movies, books, and museums. If you ever find yourself standing in front of a T-Rex skeleton at a museum, you'll realize just how massive and intimidating this creature was. Just think about how our ancestors must have felt, sharing the planet with creatures so fierce, they were almost unstoppable. Luckily, these animals are long gone, but their legacy lives on in the fossil records and the stories we tell today. So, these were some of the scariest animals that ever lived, but they're all extinct now. Maybe nature removed them to make space for humans. Who knows what other terrifying creatures once lived on Earth that we haven't discovered yet? That's all for today. If you found these creatures fascinating, don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-blowing stories about the prehistoric world. See you next time.